Have you ever seen, having the privilege to travel with my dad, one of the things, being a pastor's kid, there is there any pastor's kids here? PKs, right? You guys already know the life, the PK life. So the pastors, I have a passion for pastor's kids, I really do, right? Because there's just challenges that we face that many people don't understand, you know what I mean? And one of the biggest challenges that we face is that people have a perception of how your life is, and you have the reality of what your life is. And some of the struggles that happen is whenever the perception is not in alignment with the reality, right? You've ever seen that before. So often enough, like when I travel with my dad, it's always one of those like people are mesmerized. Oh my God, Dr. Soni, oh my God, Bishop, pray for me. I mean, I've seen my dad do incredible things, from miracles. I've learned, one of the craziest miracles we saw one time was the growing of toes. Like literally in a meeting, the stuff that makes you run away. Like my dad have seen a kid that was dead, come back to life. Everybody ran, even him, he ran. Right? Those kind of crazy stuff, right, happens to you when those things happen. So you have all that perception, you have this aura that happens. People come and trying to carry his Bible and all that stuff. I'm like, really? Is that deep? But then whenever you see your dad and you have to travel and you stay in the same hotels and you see the frustration and you see the struggle, you see the misunderstanding, you see the people who judge him, you see the people who come against you, it gives you a different perspective. It gives you a different level of respect when people come against you and you still treat them with love. When the same people who are trying to stab you in the back are the same people who are coming to hug you. See, one of the things I've learned, and my dad has helped me to become lazy. My dad told me one time, he said, son, I'm proud of you, I'm proud of the work that you're doing, but when I was young, when I was your age, I had to spend 3 years, I gave 800 messages. In 3 years. 800 messages. In 3 years. I said, oh, okay, all right. 800 messages in 3 years. So if it's 360 something per year, so for about 2 years, you preach every day. He said in the last year, he was preaching twice a day for 6 months straight. So yeah, the wisdom he has accumulated, the relationship that he's had with God, it didn't come overnight. There's a price to pay. For the goals you want, because remember, we talked about writing your goals. I want you to, next to where you say write your goals, I want you to put a parentheses and write, what am I willing to pay for this goal? What is the price you're willing to pay for the goals that you set? What is the price you're willing to pay for the goals that you set? I remember when I was in school, I used to never go out. I didn't party. Penn State was one of the top 10 party schools. We had fraternities. You guys have seen movies. You know American fraternities? You know what I mean? Sororities. They party up. I didn't party. It was so bad that they used to call me the DD. DD, the letter D and T, stands for designated driver. So the designated driver is the guy that we know is always sober, right? You can always call. And I had a car. So everybody, sometimes some of my friends that used to be drunk were like, Salem, you got a car? You gotta go pick us up at the club. And me and my Christian self, I pull up over there and I pick them up. I gotta give them a ride. But that was my ministry to many of them. And eventually, many of them I actually was able to bring them to Christ. I was doing Uber before Uber. Bro, I just thought about that. I was doing Uber before Uber, man. I should get paid. I was sending my gas tax. But I remember that time, that was kind of the price that I knew in my head, this is what I had to do. There's a lot of different things you have to ask yourself, what is the price you gotta pay? Some of our friends would think you're corny. How about, yeah girl, you're cute, God has beautifully made you, you got all the shapes and stuff, but how about living and walking and clothing yourself with decency? And some people will be like, oh girl, you gotta show your shape, girl, you gotta do, how about you sacrifice that because God is gonna call you for a man who's gonna enjoy that? How about, there's things right now that God is calling you to do and you just haven't taken the time to spend time. God is calling some of you guys, you just haven't time to answer. And the phone has been ringing and ringing and ringing and ringing because God never leaves voicemails. And He just keep calling you over and over and you're just not answering. Some of you guys, it's not that you're being lazy on purpose. You just don't even know that God is calling you to higher where you are. Seriously, some of you guys, for your church to go to the next level, you need to stand up. Like, you need to actually do something. For Ireland to experience the revival that we're all expecting, we all got to be ready. We all got to be ready. It's not just about me. It's not just about Mama Dene, Papa Bienvenue. All of us. What did I tell you guys? If 10,000 people started running outside here, if I couldn't be able to pray for everybody if I said, okay, what is your name? Jenny. If I said, Jenny, go and pray for that person, take care of that person. Exchange your number, make sure that you follow up with them. Can we do that? We have these big things we want God to do. All I'm saying is, for us to see those things, we got to get ready. That's why I'm coming here. I'm coming here just to train, to prepare. Because here's what I'm telling you. It's going to happen either with you or without you. Right? So here's the difference. Some of you guys think that I love someone like Esther, right? Esther, I know her for a while from the first time. You know one thing I love about Esther? Esther is the one person where it's like, because I guess she comes from a family of artists. I see John, and I saw John give me a little note. I was like, I see you, bro. You got a little Danny McClarkin voice. I see you, man. Relax, man. But I remember I was seeing Esther. Esther is just one of very just dedicated people, right? You don't have to agree with what I'm saying. Everybody who knows her knows that she's one of those dedicated people. To a point where, even if you do a meeting, well, oh, I want to meet at this time. If no one shows up, you know she'll show up. Those are the type of people you need to count on. If we're going to do an event in Germany, and God said, because God gave me a vision for Germany, we're going to do an event for 60,000 people, and I need you to show up. Can I count on you? Or are you going to come up with excuses? I don't have the money, I don't have the thing, my church. First of all, I want all of you guys, actually be involved in your church. Do what you got to do. That's the first step. That's the basics. You're not going to come. See, some of you guys are trying to impress when there's these meetings. Like, you're this super Christian, but at your church, nobody knows you. See, one thing I realize is I can't come speak to you like this, like impress you guys, and I don't know how to wash dishes. Because people think I'm fake, I'm phony, I'm talking about not being lazy and I don't wash dishes. Like, what is that? Because I grew up in a home where, see, I'm the only boy. I have 3 sisters, right? I'm the only boy. There's 4 of us. I'm not one of those guys like, oh, my sister have to do things for me. Nah, my mom didn't raise me like that. Everybody got their dad. If your mom didn't raise you like that, it's okay. But I also was raised in a home where, yeah, girl, you better learn how to cook. Because I'm not taking you out every night. Nah, man. You better learn how to do something. Well, I mean, you have to pay for that diary, you better learn how to do something. You know what I mean? So, the point I'm trying to say is, God is expecting a lot out of you guys. Just start to get ready. David was anointed to be king at 15. Became king at 25. 10 years. Are you willing to wait 10 years? Are you willing to wait that long? And during that time, are you getting ready? Because some people see your glory, they don't know your story. They want your crown, but they don't have the shoulders for it. They want to sit on your chair, but they don't want to go through the door first. Yeah, you want to get to the top floor, but man, the elevator is out of service. You got to take the stairs. It's just life. It's just life. Let's move on. I pray that the Holy Spirit convicts some of you, that you may be able to start ready and take action on what you need to do. I remember Martin Luther King Jr., this homiletic hero, this guy who fought for the liberation and the freedom of African Americans in America. You guys have heard of him. He said a sentence that I've always loved. He said, "Be so good at what you do that both the living, the dead, and the unborn can't do it any better than you." Be so good that both the living, the dead, and the yet to be born can't do it any better than you. Be irreplaceable. I tell people often the time, hear my word now. I'm going to tell you because I'm in the financial market. I talk to a lot of people in the financial market. We're about to have a financial crisis, and it's going to be global. It's happening. Whether you believe it or not, whether you like numbers or not, it's going to happen. The problem is, what are you going to do to get ready when it happens? You know the people who are going to succeed when the market is going to crash and it's going to be bad? The people who are experts. Have you ever wondered when there's a disaster on the news, it was this expert of such comes and gives his opinion. Throughout the whole year, nobody cares what he does. And then when there's a trouble, they call that guy who's an expert. When there's a trouble in your neighborhood, do they call you? Do they know that you live there? What are you an expert at? I was talking to Israel and I told him, dude, you're 19 right now. I'm like, if it takes you 10 years to be an expert and somebody's willing to pay you $1 million, you only be 29. Some of you guys, you're not understanding the time frame. You're 15. Dedicate the next 10, you'll be 25 and you got your own money. I'm only asking you 10 years. I'm not saying that you got to wait until you're 55. We live in a time where I believe this is the greatest time of the church. People talk about churches are closing. That's true. I've been to Europe. I can tell you, I wish the projector was working. I will show you some pictures. I've been to a church in Bolton, UK. Not only did they close the church, they built inside the church, like cathedral. They built apartment complexes and they sell them. 600 euros per room in the church. Inside. Like you look into the window, there's another window they built inside the actual church. So churches are being closed. The problem is, you guys are the hope of Europe. See, in African culture, especially in Congolese culture, but African culture in general, we have this idea of when the grandma is tired, my older people might know this, when the grandma is tired, what do? They take one of the grandkids to go and live with the grandma, to strengthen the grandma. See, Europe is the grandma of the faith, because Europe sent the missionaries that came and evangelized us. We are the grandchildren who has to come and say, Grandma, you're tired, now let me take care of you. We are the ones that will take care of this church. So we need to believe that God needs to use us now. But you need to be good at what you do. Be so good. I remember my guy, Terence. Remember Terence with the guitar? Oh my God, he was so good. I remember last time. He stayed in my memory. Some of you guys, people don't remember you. Why? Maybe just because you're average. Average people don't get remembered. Very, very important. Another thing that we're going to talk about is, before I move to this, I want to talk about, this is really important. This is something I say everywhere I go, whether I talk to Christians or I talk to corporate field. This is one of my secret to success. Write this down. One of my secret to success. It says this. Whatever the masses do, do the opposite. Whatever the masses do, do the opposite. If you do what everybody does, you'll be average, because that's an average action. You want to be different? Do the opposite of what most people do. That's how you stand. An expert is somebody who's willing to go against the grain. I tell people, when you're gifted, let me say it this way. When you bear fruit, don't be surprised when people throw stones at you. Because they only throw stones to the tree that has fruits. Woo! That's good for myself. You guys don't understand. For those who grew up in Africa, remember what the mango trees? Remember the mango trees? I grew up in Africa. Don't worry. I grew up in Africa. I remember we used to, I want to say it was our mango tree, but it wasn't a mango tree. It was our neighbor's mango tree. But a lot of it was on our side, so it was our mango tree. You know what I mean? It started on their room, but it came home. You know those mango trees that lean? You guys know what I'm talking about. So the ones with the mangoes on it, guess what we used to do? We used to take the stone. Look at it. Why do we throw the stone at the mango tree and not the palm tree? Because I want the mangoes, baby. So when people want your food, don't be afraid and don't be surprised when they throw stones at you. When you're gifted, you're going to have haters. Because what haters confuse is they think that because they can take your gift, they can do what you do. Some of you guys are going to come out of here pissed. Because you're going to realize you spend all this time confused, thinking that these people are coming against you. No, they don't want you. They want your gift. See, one of the reasons why celebrities die of drugs and addiction and stuff like that, and something that would never happen to me, I don't confuse my gift and me. Mama Nene, I love her, big sister of mine, the beautiful presentation she gave, the reason I'm here, I know it. Yeah, don't love me. You love my gift. If I came here and I just stood here, the whole time I'm like, what is this? Who is this guy? Why is he here? But because you like the gift of speaking, that's why I'm here. See, I don't get confused. Why? Because when you don't get confused between people's love for your gift and you, they can't hurt you. Yeah, it can't hurt me because I know you need my gift. And when people need your gift, you cannot be fired. You got to know what your gift is. Very important. Discover your gift. You won't be able to be fired. You become irreplaceable. And your gift is only in accordance to you. Only you can do what you need to do the way you need to do it. Only you. There's no copy of you. You're so unique. God, there's one, remember we talked about biblical principles. I told you guys the irrefutable law of sowing and reaping. Another law that God does. This is irrefutable. God never makes copies. God is so strong about that. In the whole Bible, Jesus never repeated a miracle. Not one. He never did the same miracle twice. God healed many people that were blind. He did it all different ways. Because God didn't want to show you, I got tools out the wazoo. I can use this, I can use that, I can use this way. Don't try to be a copy. God has made you unique. Even twins don't have the same fingerprints. So why are you trying to compare yourself to others? You are beautifully and wonderfully made. I love what Joel let us know. You are beautifully and wonderfully made. The Bible says God needed you. You know those old grandmas you see in movies? They used to do knitting? The Bible says God needed you. Fiber by fiber. Like, you're so beautifully made that when God made you, the mold that he used to make you, he broke it and created another mold. Because he can't make another copy of you. You're so unique. You're so precise. Don't try to be another copy. Don't try to be me. Learn from me. Don't try to be me. You know one thing that freed me? I realized I can't be my dad. He's a unique. I mean, he's one of a kind. I realized I'm one of a kind. There's no one like me. That's the reason people always think like what I exude, they confuse my confidence in my creator for arrogance. See, because I know God took so much time for me, I can't waste by being timid. I can't waste by being timid. Some of you guys are being timid and afraid because you don't realize you're so special, no one can copy you. I'm going to say something that was going to shock some of you guys. Why does some of you guys never create your own clothing line? You have the design, you have the ability to create. You only wear what Beyonce wears. Calvin Klein gives you value. You wear that Gucci belt, you feel good, you know? To me, that's sick. That means you have a problem with self-esteem. I don't need anyone to give me esteem. That's the reason why, I remember one time I went to this church in Paris. Who knows Pastor Semayas? He's a pastor, yeah. We did evangelize in the train. I mean, it was an incredible experience. And we went to his church. He invited me. Well, it's a church of a pastor friend of him who invited me, who came, who spoke. And I was there with my t-shirt, snapback, preaching. And he posted it live. And people were like, who is this guy? What is he preaching with the hat on? What is disrespecting the house of God? And I'm like, but yeah, people got saved though. I'm like, so you want me to do it the way you do it because the way you do it makes you feel comfortable. See, the problem is most people hatred is not that they're against you, they just feel uncomfortable about themselves. Because some people actually want to do what you do. The problem is they're just feeling bad because they haven't had the courage to do it themselves. When they see you do it, they're like, man, that should have been me. Have you ever had an idea? Like you have a great idea, and you go to the store and you're like, oh, somebody already made this. You're like, dang, that could have been me, I would have been rich. Many of us, God has given us talents. When you walk in your talent, like I told you, don't be afraid. Actually, when you have haters, it's a confirmation that you're talented. So next time haters hate you, be like, thank you, God. You just confirmed to me that you're giving me something people want. Because they only throw stones at trees that have fruits. So maybe if you ain't got no haters right now, you're not doing much. Maybe some of you guys, your life is too nice right now. Maybe you're not doing much. I'm just saying. So let's continue. Because when people or everybody, us, does one thing that's an average action, let's always live to the fullest of our potential. So today I want to talk about, as we continue, remember what we're talking about right now, we're talking about the pragmatic. For those who came late, because we have two different sessions. The first session I want to talk about is the pragmatic, the practical things that we can do to grow in our relationship with Christ so we can have exploits. How to live a life of unlimited exploits. That's a subtitle, right? Doing exploits with God is our first title. So the first thing that we talked about is the pragmatic. And in the pragmatic, I want to talk about living to the fullest of your potential. We're going to talk about what I call the 5 T's of your potentials. The 5 T's, like Thomas. The 5 T's of your potential. The 5 T's of your potential, right? So write it down because these are very, very important. Your potential is made up of T number 1, your talent. Your talent. T number 2 is made up of your time. Time. So talent, time. T number 3, your treasure. Treasure, treasure, treasure. Your treasure. T number 4, technology. Technology, technology. And the last T, your testimony. Your testimony. Those are the 5 T's of your potential. And we're going to be talking about those. And thank you, Joanne. These are those type of notes I want to see. Oh, man. Praise God. Right, so the first T we talk about is your talent. What is your talent? Your talent is a combination of your natural given potential as a human being or as an individual. This is very important. Your human being abilities are built into your DNA. They are accumulated and they are shaped by your experiences, your circumstances, your environment, your history, your relationship, education, and your training. I'm going to say that sentence again. It's really important. I even wrote it down here. Your human being abilities, which is what we talk about as your talents, they are built in your DNA. They're in you. But they get accumulated and they get shaped by your experience, circumstances, environment, history, relationships, education, and training. It's really important. I want to break it down. So God has given some of you guys talent that are, there's the word that they use in scientific terms is the word intrinsic. Intrinsic. I-N-S-T-R-S-I-C. Intrinsic. Intrinsic meaning that it's something that is naturally in you. You don't have to get it. I'm not giving it to you. God, when He made you, it's inside of you. It's a natural given ability. So God has put some of the talent, when we talk about discovering your work, it's in you. It's put inside of you. But it's put inside of you in a raw form. Have you guys seen like food in raw form? Who has ever seen rice in raw form, before you cook it? Right? It's hard, you can't really eat it on there. It has to be transformed. So the rice you eat is strapped into the raw rice, right? It has to be in contact with warm water for a certain amount of time, a certain amount of heat, right? To be transformed. It's the same thing too. Your natural given talents are inside of you. Your environment, your training, your experience, your relationship, your history, your education, your training, all those different things shape how your talents are. So it's very, very important for us to understand this. So there's a couple of things I do want to make sure that we mention about this. So how do I discover my talent? Right? How do I discover my talent? I'm going to give you 5 questions about how to discover your talent. So write this down. 5 questions how to discover your talent. Question number 1. What do I do that comes naturally to me? What do I do that comes naturally to me? I don't have to make an effort, it just kind of happens to me. What do I do that comes naturally to me? Question number 1. Number 2, what can I do for a long time and not get paid for it? What can I do for a long time and not get paid for it? You don't get tired, you don't get mad that they're not paying you, it's just something that you love to do. What can I do for a long time and not get paid for it? Question number 3, what do I do that benefits others? Why? Because you guys will see, your talents, God didn't give you your talents for you. He gave it for others. So your talent should always be an expression of selflessness, not selfishness. What do I always do that blesses others? Last question, it's very important. Last question about your talents, for you to help discover your talent. What do I do that I always want to seek improvement? What do I do that I always want to seek improvement? I want to get better at. You know, there's some things you do, you don't want to, you just do it because you have to do it. You could care less if you got better at it or not. But there are other things that you're like, man, I'm passionate about this. I need to get better at playing the guitar. Who's the girl that was playing the guitar here? What's her name? Oh, yeah, I was really impressed. I like seeing girls that play guitar. I'm like, wow, that's impressive, right? So some people, they get better at playing, they seek improvement. What is that thing that you're seeking improvement on? Those are some of the first few questions I want you to start. Bonus questions to ask. Question number 2, which is really important. Number 5, I guess. Question number 5. What do other people compliment me on? What do other people compliment me on? You know, sometimes people compliment you. Girl, you sing very well. Man, you dress very well. You have a great sense of fashion. You know what I mean? What do other people compliment you? What are other people seeing in you? Because one of the biggest key of success is having the ability to have others analyze and give you advice. If you're not willing to take advice, trust me, you're not going to go far. You're not going to go far. You got to be willing to also take constructive criticism. It's really important, right? Last question. Is what I do against the gospel or the will of God? Because I can tell you right now, if what you're doing you think is your talent, but comes against the word of God or the will of God, it's not God's talent for you. You could be great as a prostitute. That's not God's talent for you. Facts. You could be great at stealing money. It's not God's will. It's not your talent. You'll be like, oh, I'm a talented robber. What? That's not God's talent for you. Really, really important. It cannot violate God's law. Fact. God cannot give you something that violates what He stands for. That makes no sense. Right? Very important. And then last statements. Oh, a couple of things I want to say as well. Your talents, so this is not questions, this is just a couple of statements that I want you to know. Your talents are a mold and they shape your purpose. Mold is M-O-L-D, so not M-O-L-E. That's a different thing. Your talent are a mold and shape your purpose. Your talent help distinguish you from your peers. And lastly, your talents work with you, in you, and for you. Your talents work with you, in you, and for you. Very important. Okay, let's move to the second T. So that was T number 1, your talent. Very, very important. T number 2, your time. Your time. Time is the only universal commodity that is shared equally with everyone. It's the only thing on earth no one has more of. It's time. Even Oprah doesn't have 25-hour days. She had 24 like you. Your time is your potential. Right now, when I say this, you got to ask yourself, what am I doing with my time? Your time is very important. One of the things that we always tell people is that when you treasure your time, it pays well. When you waste your time, it costs more. It'll come to you later, so just write it down. When you treasure your time will pay you well. That's why Americans love to say, time is money. But when you waste your time, it costs you more. See, during our training, whenever I come to different places like this, besides giving you pragmatic stuff, a lot of practical things, I like to also challenge you. So one of the things that we do in our training is we challenge a lot of young people right now. Have you guys ever actually stopped and asked yourself, can I give 1 hour a week to preaching the gospel? 1 hour a week. I'm not asking you an hour a day. That's too much. I got a busy schedule. You got to be checking Facebook and all. You're busy, right? I'm just saying 1 hour a week. 1 hour a week wherever you are intentional about sharing the gospel to someone else. Intentional. Intentional meaning you're doing it on purpose with the purpose of sharing Jesus to another person. 1 hour a week. We call that the hour of the ambassador because we are ambassador of Christ. So as ambassador, there are hours of office. It's like going to work. As an ambassador, I have duties. I have to report to work. So can you promise to give at least 1 hour a week to share Jesus? It doesn't mean that you have to physically someone. It could be a friend. I tell people, the way I brought my best friend to Christ, it was at midnight, but actually it was 1 a.m. We're in a basketball court playing basketball. No church, no choir, no music in the background, no praise hands, no preaching. On the basketball court we played. I mean, he went through a tough time. He lost his father. His father died. He had his leg amputated. I went to the funeral. I mean, who did the casket. I mean, this is my boy. I call him John the Don. I mean, it's my guy. Brought him to Christ, playing basketball. 1 a.m. the basketball court. I was like, dude, we've been friends for a couple of years now. You know me. You know what I do. But bro, I don't know if Christ came today. I don't know if you would go with me. Some of you guys, aren't you tired to have friends that you're not sure will make it? Like you believe in God and you know that God is the best thing that's ever happened to you and you're selfish about giving it to the people you quote unquote love. You know, one of the things I tell people when it comes to sharing the gospel, there's several approaches that one has to have. And I usually tell people, there's a difference between being an evangelist and being a missionary. Right? What are some of the differences between evangelists and missionaries? What do you guys think? The difference between an evangelist and a missionary? A missionary sent? They're both sent. An evangelist and a missionary, they're both sent. What are some of the differences? Not a trick question. I want to know what you guys think. Okay, a missionary goes abroad. Okay. What else? What do you guys think? You've heard those terms. You guys are church people. You know? What is a missionary? What is an evangelist? What's the difference? What are some of the differences? They're not that different? They're all supposed to be evangelical. Okay. Makes sense. So I know some of you guys are afraid to have the wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. I just want to know what you guys think. One of the things, for example, when it comes to a missionary approach and an evangelist approach, a missionary is usually called to go and live with the people that he's trying to share the gospel to, right? Because I've seen those, right? They go abroad, they stay there for a longer time. Usually an evangelist preaches the gospel for a time and comes back. He's on a shorter term versus a longer term. So I tell people often enough, don't try to be an evangelist to your friends. You got to be a missionary to your friends. Why? I was having a conversation with Israel. You guys have had this awkward conversation before? One day you just fired up in church, the pastor convicted you, you know you're going to hell because you haven't preached to anybody. You call your best friend and be like, bro, you're going to hell, you got to receive Jesus now, right? Like, this is enough, man. Stop playing games. Like, bro, what's going on, man? What's going on, girl? Right? And then next day you meet them. Yeah, see about yesterday, I go on fire and stuff like that. And then it becomes awkward now because you were so abrupt the first time. You know what I mean? It's very, very important. The approach you're supposed to have is every encounter I have with this person, I'm chipping away. It's like you're trying to bring down a tree. Nobody brings a tree with one swing. Even if you're Hulk Hogan, you can't bring in one tree. You got to chip away. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit. See, my best friend, the reason I was able to bring him to Christ on a basketball floor at 1 a.m., there was no need for music, no need for a message, just because slowly I kept chipping away. I kept chipping away at him. I'm like, do you understand this way? What about this way of doing things? What about this way of doing things? And they kept chipping away, 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 away. Some of the things with you guys, your best friends don't even know how serious you are about your faith. Your best friend doesn't know how serious you are about your faith. That should make you think for a little bit, right? That should make you think. Very, very important. John chapter 9, verse 4 to 5. The Lord makes it say, He said, I must work the work of Him who sent me while it is day. That means while I still have the time. In chapter 12, verse 35, also He makes it say, the night comes when no man can work. There's going to come a time where you won't have the ability to work. So redeem the time is really important. Really, really important. Okay, 3, your treasure. Your treasure, your treasure, your treasure, your treasure. So simply, your treasure is anything that has your heart. Anything that has your heart is your treasure. Some of you guys want me to say, oh, anything that has your money. No, anything that has your heart is your treasure. Some of you guys, your relationship are your treasure. Some of you guys right now, you're sitting there and you're like, you feel convicted. You know you need to break up with that person. And you're like, man, I don't know. God is saying, I need all of your heart, not some of it. See, some of you guys, some of us, I include myself in this, because sometimes we struggle with these issues. We say, God, I surrender, but we don't. You say, God, be the Lord of my life, but if we just give Him one room. Everybody, you know Africans. We as Africans, we do this all the time. You invite somebody, you say, what do you tell them? Make yourself. You know you don't mean that. If I come to your home right now and I walk into your bedroom, oh, make yourself a home in the living room, my friend. Like, what you talking about? I can't just walk in your house, open the fridge, drink out of the bottle. Like, what? We don't mean that, right? When we say make yourself a home, what do you mean? Stay in the living room, sit down, I will bring you things. That's what we mean. We don't mean make yourself a home. We don't mean that. The problem is, many of us are using God the same way. We say, God, I surrender, but not that area. God, I want you to be the Lord of my life, but this area, be the Lord of this area. God says, if God can be the God of all, He can be the God at all. He has to be the God over all of your life. And that is hard. Your treasure is anything that has your heart, from your material possession to your positional possession. You know some positional possession? I see this all the time with singers. There's always that lead singer that never comes to practice on time. But when it's time to sing, she come in front. And you know what I mean? You guys have seen those people, right? No, they're not here. They're not here. They're outside. They didn't come today, right? They're not here. But I'm just saying, like, you've seen those people. They always want to be the lead, but they don't come to practice on time, right? They don't practice almost. They don't sing. That's their practice. And they want to sing. They like their position. Or you've seen those people that sit in the same chairs. Like, you sit where they sit. Hey, problem. It's a big issue. You've seen those people, right? Yeah. Position. That's their treasure. No, in my family, we always sat in the front for 6th generation. No one to sit in the front row. What are you talking about? Right? So, you guys know those things. It's position. Sometimes it's your position at work. You're too big of a boss to talk about Jesus. You're afraid to lose your job over Jesus. Yeah, see, it's easy when we talk about people at the church. Now I'm going into your business and talking about work. Now you're like, whoa, relax, my friend. Yeah, you're talking to that girl, and you guys are doing right now, but now the pastor's preaching about being holy, and you're talking about, oh, maybe we might move together, but we're not going to sleep together. Okay. Your position also is very important. Your influence is also your possession. Some of you guys, you're in a leadership position. I'm the leader here. Whatever I say goes. Now that you're being challenged again and saying, I need you to humble yourself, you're like, God, I don't like humbling myself. Your treasure. Very important. Your treasure increases or diminishes depending on the usage or the placement of it. Your treasure increases or diminishes depending on the usage or the placement of it. So the things that you value as your treasure, the more you use it, it increases as its value as your treasure. The less you use it, it diminishes. Very, very important. Number four, we're going to talk about technology. This is my favorite one. When it comes to your potential, we'll live in the greatest time of the world. I was looking the other day that they're working on these things right now. It's really crazy. Amazon is working on this thing with, who's ever heard of Alexa? Amazon Alexa, you've heard of this, right? So Alexa, you can ask her a question. It's like a little home computer thing that you put. You can say, Alexa, play this music, she'll play. Or Alexa, record that I need to go on Tuesday and buy eggs at 7 p.m. So at 6:45 on Tuesday, she reminds, hey, Salem, you gotta go buy eggs. You know what I mean? That's Alexa. Alexa is what we call an AI, intelligent, artificial intelligence, AI. So it's really, really important. They're working on this thing with Alexa right now that I thought was really scary, because I was like, if they keep working on this, a lot of people will be out of a job. You guys have been to a McDonald's right now. I don't know about here, but I was in Paris and I saw this. There's a McDonald's in Paris where when you walk in, there's only one person who works there, one employee. All of McDonald's. All you do is you come on the computer, you say, okay, I want a double cheeseburger with fries, give me some pickles, I want this. You press the computer, boom, and you go sit down. And then, well, obviously, you gotta pay, you know what I mean? Not free, you gotta pay. You pay. You come in, you sit down. And then somebody comes with a plate, serves you, and then goes back. Like, you don't even see them. It's just a random person that comes. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then another person ordered, and I saw it was the same person that came and served everybody. So if McDonald's that pays poorly is trying to cut their workers, you think your job is safe. What they're working out with Alexa, because I do some stuff in real estate. A lot of real estate agents, you guys know real estate, right? People sell homes and things like that. You know there's agent that comes and shows you the home, they're trying to sell you, oh, this home is good, buy this home, and those are agents. This thing with Alexa now, what you can do is you would take your phone, you download the real estate app, all you do is you go into a neighborhood, you're driving, you have the camera on, you pass like this, and it tells you all the details about the home. How big the home is, how many people live there, how much money it's going to cost. I'm like, who needs a real estate agent now? Another thing that they're working with Alexa, this is going to shock many of you guys when it comes to schools. Mainly now, they're working on these VR glasses that you can have at your home, which is going to be students that are going to be in class with cameras, where they're going to have the cameras on. You won't have to go to class. That student is going to be you in there. You can just watch the professor like you were there with VR glasses on. You think things are getting easier. You know how people are talking about chips, like they'll put, and they're like, oh, la marque de la bête. It's going to catch you by surprise. Because what they're working on right now, I just went through, because I travel a lot, there's this thing that they call global entry. Global entry is when you go to many countries, it's kind of like, you don't want to be in long lines, you pay this amount of money and you can go in a quicker line. So global entry now, it's just $100. For American citizens, it's only $100 and it gives you 5 years access to shorter lines all over the world. Well, airports have global entry. And one of the things that now they require, because I was trying to do it for this trip, they have to do your fingerprint DNA and see if you're matchable with the chip. I'm like, devil, get behind me, I'm trying to get my chip. But now, right now, there's an option for both. But soon, it's going to be the only option. They're starting with things small like that. And then you're going to go, now for you to go to school, you're going to have to put a chip, because in the chip, they're going to know your blood type, they're going to know what everything that you've done, they're going to know how many classes you are, where your dorm room, and all this. Trying to tell me, technology is not always scary, but the reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to wake up. Stop living like you guys lived in 1960s. This is 2018, we're going to 2019. You guys have to be with the time. So I use that in a negative sense. Now let me bring in the positive sense. We live in the greatest time of technology. What did I tell you when I started? Say hello to YouTube. Hi. Why? Because this video is going to be on YouTube. Somebody's going to watch this on there. And somebody who wasn't here physically can be able to be uplifted and touched by the video that is being shown all over the world. Really important. The other day I was having a Skype call. There was somebody from Japan. I've never been in Japan. and I'm able to reach in Japan. I got invited to go and speak in London. Another speaker that was invited to speak as well went to the embassy, and this person is from Congolese descent, and he was rejected. Our passports. So they said, no, we're not going to give you the visa for London. And he was, down. He's young too. I'm like, what you down about? I'm like, this is not 1970. I'm like, you still going to be there through Skype? So what you mad about? Technology has broken down the walls that used to be. Many of you guys have the ability to reach way more people outside your circles, but you're too distracted taking cute pictures. Or you could be reaching some of your friends through your social media. I guarantee you there's somebody here who has more followers on social media than all our churches combined. Yeah, now we're getting uncomfortable. There's somebody here in this room right now, I know, the facts are true. There's somebody here in this room right now that has probably more followers on social media, Instagram, Facebook, than all the churches represented here put together. Yeah, but you've been posting cute pictures. You can't just come with the Bible first out of nowhere, Like, whoa, what's going on? Technology. See, Paul used the greatest technology of his time, which was what? The horse. See, people don't understand. If Paul was living today, if Jesus was here, man, Jesus would be on a plane all the time. Jesus would be everywhere. Jesus would have Facebook, Zoom. Jesus would be on WhatsApp. Jesus would be everywhere. You saw those WhatsApp messages you get all the time? Jesus would be blasting you all the time, man. Because Jesus will use all the technology all the time. Why aren't we? Why aren't we? Do you only forward cute, funny messages? I'm not asking you to send this to 40 people and then you'll be blessed in 5 minutes. not those messages, right? Not those messages. But I'm saying we have to learn how to use technology. Right now, the power of technology is we have microphones. If there wasn't this microphone, I would have to scream to you guys. So the technology makes it easier for us. When we preached in the subway, it seems like it was difficult, but it really wasn't. We had 2 girls. One girl had the guitar, another girl had the guitar. We both went on both sides of the sub. So one entered this way, the other one entered this way, and we all met in one particular area, all playing the guitar while we were singing. The guy who was preaching had this little speaker that you clip to your belt here, and then the little microphone on the side, and you speak. When somebody else has to speak, you take it out, you give it to that person will preach. Simple. Technology made it simple. You don't have to be screaming, oh, Jersey, damn! No. Like, it's not only like that. There's no need for that. You know what I mean? Technology makes it easier for us, so we have to utilize technology. Some of you guys, God has called you to different areas. Don't try to be like everybody else. Some of you guys, God has called to entertainment. My sister Debbie, which is my oldest sister, is a movie director and a movie writer. She's written a movie that actually received 5 awards. And one of the awards was the best movie of the year in one of the Christian festivals. You have to now think beyond your circle of influence. Some of you guys have skills in technology that will bless your church, but you're like, Facebook, send me lunch. Like every Sunday you do that Facebook that's blurry, that doesn't work well, and then it's upside down. Oh, come on. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've seen those, right? And you know how to snap. See, the problem is most of your churches would do well if they were on Snapchat. So you don't know that because you always think, oh, no, some young people, but they're not going to come to church anyway. How do you want to hear about that? One of the fastest growing church in America right now is a church that is full on using social media. You guys are expert. And I'll tell you, I'm not going to tell this to the grown adults. They're not going to do it. The reason I'm telling you is because you're using it anyway. So let God use your technology. You tell the grown adult, oh, Snapchat, oh, they'll be like, what is this? That looks like a ghost. No, man, it's the app. It's the app. So learn, understand. You know, it's funny. I was talking to a group. Where was I? I was in Bolton, UK, and I was talking to a group of people. We did this competition, this dance competition, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. Even though I'm in America, I'm not cool. I'm like a lame guy. You know what I mean? I'm not cool. You know what I mean? People know about these new dances, all these things. And they're like, oh, yo, you know this new dance? I'm like, what? I forgot what the name was. Like, it was something like the one with the leg up kind of thing. What's that called? What's that called? There's what? Shoot. Yeah. Like you're shooting someone? Yeah. Oh, it's really weird. So you know what I mean? So I didn't even know what that was. They were like, oh, you know what I'm like, dude, that looks very like unbalanced. I tried it, I failed, I laughed. It was a fun time. But the problem is, they know about it, but they're in the church. Why? Because they're on YouTube. You know, the reason I'm on YouTube is not because I want to be on YouTube. The reason I'm on YouTube is because y'all on YouTube. And I need to reach you guys. That's the reason I'm on YouTube. You know, the reason I created, I tell people all the time, right now, ask yourself, if you Google the name of your church, does it come up? No. Right? Think about it. It's pretty simple. I ask you if you Google the name of your church, does it come up? It doesn't come up. So, you guys know the problem. You know when you give an address, I love the leaflet. I love the leaflet. Because the address was so long. Come to... I'm like, Jesus, how can people remember this address? But the problem is if you say, Google our church, guess what? Google Map has directions. So you guys laugh, but the problem is Google Map has directions. And you know how to register is free. It's free to register your church. It actually costs no money. But no, you just on Snapchat, snapping. And then we want revival. How do people want to find this place? You meet somebody over there in central Dublin. And you want to come to my church. Where's your church? I'll WhatsApp you the message. The address. Man, morning, Sunday morning, he looks at your address. Bro, I'm not going over there. I don't even know where that is. Come on. A lot of things are basic, guys. All I'm saying is basic. It's free to register your church on Google and have Google Maps have an address. It's pretty simple. Does your church have a website? No. Or your website is your Facebook page? Yeah. Oh, send everyone to your Facebook page. What was the last picture you posted? 2016. But no, we want to win Ireland for Christ. Come on. That's what I'm saying. All I came here is just some of you guys, I want some of you guys to leave a little bit mad. Like, we have to change. For us to grow, we have to change. Like some practical things. Technology, that's what I'm saying. Technology will change the way you do what you do. You know, there is, if you Google this guy, his name is, I forget the guy, but he sung with Donnie McClarkin. This guy used to be the music director for a church. Like a music director, the guy that sings, like the lead singer, he was a piano guy. He started recording his rehearsals. Like the common practice, started recording his rehearsals. And then he posted one video today, and then the video went viral. Like over 1 million views of their practice. Like they're close, they're practicing their song. People loved it. Started recording another video. Now his channel has more subscribers than all the churches in this city. And they only record the rehearsals. They don't make sure the actual church. When they sing on Sunday, it's only the practice. When was the last time you recorded what you guys did? You know the reason, when you go to my YouTube channel, you know, shadow plug, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see a vlog. Why do I vlog? I don't want cameras of my life. I don't want you guys to know my life. But the reason why I vlog is because you guys love vlogging. You over there looking at Logan Paul all day, looking crazy, doing story stuff. All I'm saying is, that's your attention, I'm going where the attention is. Christians, we're trying to create the attention. See, this is for you guys, for the leaders. When it comes to outreach ministry, we have to learn there are some things we can't do the same way we're doing if we want to reach a different audience. Yeah. Like for example, there's certain music, no offense to our music, no offense to our religious music, not even Congolese music, religious music, it just won't work. You bring somebody here, they won't feel at ease. So you have to know what is their music, what kind of style. I'm not saying you gotta sing world music, I'm saying you have to know the style of the music. What kind of style attracts them? Because this is not dating, this is not marriage, this is not, oh, you gotta love me the way I am. No, this is evangelism. Evangelism, God, the only analogy he used for evangelism is fishing. You know when you fish, that you gotta use a bait. You have to use something that will bait the fish to come and then you hook them. Yeah. The music, oh, we're doing this is bait. The hook is the message. The problem is your bait is bad. Your bait stinks. So the fish go, I don't want it. Even if it's free, no. Even if there's no hook. Some of you guys, there's no hook. You do a festival, no one's going to preach, but people still don't come. Why? Because the bait is bad. I did a festival in 2014 at my school. God had given me a vision. I used to run when you go to, American football, it's kind of soccer, but American football is our big sport. In college, it's big. Penn State University, I remember our biggest game, we had 109,000 people that came. 109,000 people. Crazy. And I remember after that game, I used to be in charge of a convenience store. Convenience store is like those little places after the game, you come and buy a drink, food, give me a hot dog, and stuff like that. I used to be in charge of the financial. I have to come, make sure that the money, the inventory is there. Right? I did a lot of things. Remember I told you, I tried so many things. Right? So I used to do that in that particular game. And I remember after the game, after 2 hours, I had to make sure to count all the inventory. Now I'm going back. I'm coming out of my concierge, my convenience store. I come out of there, and then God takes me in a vision. I see myself like I'm walking away from the stadium. I see God taking me, physically turn me, and bring me inside the stadium. Now I'm seeing the field where they play the game. And I see somebody preaching there. I couldn't tell who it was. I knew it wasn't me, but I saw somebody preaching there with a lot of fire, just preaching. And then out of nowhere, God takes me, turns me back, and now I'm on the top of the stadium looking down. And I see crowds of people running towards the stadium from all over the place. They come. And then after I see the people, they rush underneath the stadium. I turn back and I'm looking at the inside of the stadium, and they're all coming to the person that was preaching in the middle, and they're all falling on their knees, worshiping God. Oofus, I come out of the vision. I'm like, whoa. I mean, it wasn't one of those like, I think I'm dreaming this. It was one of those like vivid, like one of those like stuff you're like, what just happened kind of thing. And I'm not one of those guys, I'm like, in the night of 17th of October 2018, God, no, I don't give those dreams generally. Usually, I don't know, God speaks to people different ways. That's usually not something that happens to me. So that, when it happened, it was very precise. I knew God was speaking to me. So now, I'm like, what am I going to do with this vision? I don't know. But I knew God was telling me, you can't graduate Penn State without at least glorifying the name of God publicly. Okay, I was like, okay, I got to do an event, I got to do something. That same year, the year before, the Christians of Penn State, there's 47,000 students. 47,000. All the Christian organization for YATW, Campus Crusade, all the big names that you know work at universities, they all did an event together. 800 people came. 800. Some of you guys will be like, that sounds like a lot. Yeah, but there's 47,000 people at the university. 800 come. That's like an insult. You want to tell me that there's less than 1% that are Christians? Think about that, guys. That makes no sense, right? So I started thinking about that. I'm like, that makes no sense. Well, that makes no sense. And then out of nowhere, me and a friend of mine, his name was Steven, we said, okay, we have to do an event. We have to do something, an event at Penn State, to do something that is pretty big. And something that started happening that was crazy is that as we decided to do this event, we had 2 months to plan an event. I remember the financial person at the university said, well, if you do this event, it's going to cost you $30,000. Let me be honest with you. I ain't got $30,000. I was a college student. Literally, I ate mac and cheese the day before. So trust me, I didn't have $30,000. I didn't have $1,000. I'll be honest with you. I didn't have $1,000. Heck, I didn't even have $500. I was like, God, are you sure this is what we need to do? So I talked to Steven, one of my brother from another mother. He's a white boy. I love him. I mean, this is my guy, man. I'm the godson of his. I'm the godfather to his son. And I remember something that was really powerful. He looked at me. He said, "You know, if we do this, we can't go back. Like if we go forward, we can't go back. We have to use technology over there." So we decided to go. We started fundraising. We started going from church to church, sharing the vision. We started sharing the vision to influential Christians in the area. We started talking to them. I remember one time this guy who owned a business in the local area gave us a check for $5,000 because he said, I'm not a Christian, but I believe in you because my grandson goes to this school and he's become an alcoholic. And he said, I believe that maybe your event can touch him. So he was able to invest. So there were so many people that invest in us. So we got the money in different ways. We were able to collect everything that we needed. And then I remember we booked the place. Beautiful place. It was right in front of this beautiful building. It was going to look nice. So we contacted the people that were doing the light and the music. Who has ever heard of Toby Mac? Toby Mac, the singer, right? Some of you guys. So we contacted his music director. He's going to come. He's going to bring other artists. I mean, Toby Mac was out of our price range. But we were going to bring other artists. I mean, it was going to be the bomb. I mean, I was feeling myself like, you know what I mean? Like, we're about to do something. I mean, we were talking big numbers. We would have had 8,000 people out there. You know, we were just preaching that thing. 27 days before the event, you get the call of your life. No, hello, yes. Sam, well, you know, remember how we talked about the $30,000? We need all of the $30,000. Let me put it together. The guy who was only going to do the music by himself wanted $30,000. And our whole event was going to cost us $30,000. The place, the instruments, the equipment, the security, buying the place, all of that was going to cost us $30,000. We had to take that money and have to give it to one person. I said, no, my friend, I'm sorry, but we just can't do it. I think we're going to just bring our church choir is going to come sing. We can't pay you $30,000. We don't have that money. And at that point, I think we only had $18,000. We didn't even have all the $30,000 to pay. So I was like, we don't have the money. So basically, they left us. So now, all the flyers that we printed with the artists on it, we already paid $5,000 with the flyers with their name on it. Now it's useless. Yeah, you want to serve God, you're going to have challenges. We were able to talk to somebody, and then my friend Steven knew this guy that used to do EDM. People know EDM music? Like a little bit like rock kind of thing, kind of music. I mean, listen, that's why they love the debate, my friend, debates. It was debates. I don't like EDM myself, but people love it. I was like, that's the thing. So we found EDM singer over there. We found other rappers that would come, we did some hip hop, and then we were able to book all those guys. Now, 11 days before the event. So now we've reprinted flyer. We did 10,000 flyers now. Because now we put no artists on it. We're going to have music with all these different things, no artists. But so we're not sure. These guys can flick out on us. So we went and I got another call. Now it was a call from the people who had registered the place. The place where we're going to have the event. 11 days before. They called me and they said, well, I kid you not, this is exactly their words. After talking to an internal department, we realized that we cannot have you here because you're going to mess up our grass.
Our grass.
The grass. The grass. See, you guys wanted me to tell you, no, they said that you're in the Christian event. No, they said you're going to mess up the grass. So now, 11 days before the event, we have no location. We printed the flyer with the original location. This is the second time we print flyers. What would you do? I think we're going to postpone this event. I think we're going to come back next year for this event. That was what I was thinking. I remember that day, I cried. I was like, God, I'm trying to do something good. Why is there so much opposition? I'm trying to do something good. I'm like, this is to serve you. Why is going on? Why all these things? I mean, over and over. And I remember I called a couple of my friends, a good friend of mine. Some of you guys may know him. Actually, he's really kind of like we're family related. Well, maybe I should keep his name out of this. But I called him, and I remember he said something that really touched my heart. He said, well, now that you know that you're having real opposition, is another confirmation why you should do this. You know when somebody gives you a good word, a written for you, but it doesn't help you? Like, thank you. But I still ain't got no place, bro. Like, I still got no place. Like, what do I want to do? You know, give me a couple words of encouragement, and then I left. And then I went home. I went to Steven's house, and I cried. Like, I remember, you know when you're an adult, you cry, like, proper? Like, oh, it's difficult, man, it's hard. Man, I was crying on the floor, like, literally, like, you know, when you go to, like, funerals and people cry, like, uncontrollably, I was crying like that, like somebody died, right? And my friend Steven was like, what, bro? Control yourself, like, what's going on? I'm like, you don't know how I sacrificed for this. And my mother, bless my mother, she calls me, and I'm crying. She already knows what's happened because somebody already told her. And I called, my mom calls, and I told Mom, this blessed told I can't do these things. They said, well, it's up the grass. And then my mom says, stop. You know what, I don't know about you, my mom is really direct. You know, my mom is not one of those like, Mom, give me a hug. No, I'm like, you better step back, did you shower? You know, like my mom is like that, right? So that's my mom. So I remember, like, I was like, Mom, all these different things. And then my mom told me something I never forgot. And I want you guys to remember this. Because when you're going to go through trouble, because you will. My mom said, you already have lifted God's name. You don't have to fight for him. He can fight for his own name. I said, what? She said, you did all you had to do. Now let God do what he can do. I said, Because my mom knows how to talk to me. You know, you don't need to give me something nice, I'm going to feel good. My mom said, you fought your fight. You came to the end of your part. Now let God do his part. I said, you know, like somebody said something strong, the tears stopped. Like I was like, whoa, okay. Like God, I looked up. I was at the balcony. I looked up. I'm like, yeah, I did my part. Like I did everything I could do, man. Like I did the work. And I stopped. You would think like the next day I got another. Nah, bruh. Now there was 4 days before the event. So now we started school. So remember, I started planning the school during the summer. So now we started school. I'm going to class. The event is on Saturdays. Our plan was to be the first big party of the year. So that we can bring people. Because a lot of freshmen, they don't know where to party. They don't know whether it's Christian or not. They just want to party. Party. Music, go. They just want to come. So we said, okay, we're going to catch them that way. Again, bait, my friend, bait. So that was kind of the goal. 4 days before I'm going to class, nothing happens. 3 days before, now I'm stressing out. Because now we have to make a decision. We have to either cancel the event, or we're going to have a lot of people show up to a non-event. You know what I mean? And that's worse, because now we're going to have to include campus police to make sure that they control the people. It's going to be fine on us. I mean, I could get in big trouble, kind of thing. I have to call it up. And to call it up, you need to call it up with the university, because we had to get approval from the university to use that particular location. And we had to buy, this is things you don't know. You know, when you do a big event, not only you get the permit, you need to get bathrooms. You know those portable toilets? You need to buy those. And you know, you buy those based on the number of people you expect to have. So you can't just have an event for 5,000 people and buy 2 of those things. It doesn't work like that. You have to have a certain amount. And they're not cheap. So now I had to cancel for those guys too, because those guys are not going to bring it and stole it and be like, oh, oops, my bad. You know, bring it back. And then they were like, oh, no, we'll do it for free. No, it's not how it works. So now, in my head, day 3, we have to make a decision. Day 3. The event is Saturday. This is Wednesday. I meet with Steven at night. I'm like, bro, I think tomorrow we're going to have to make a decision. We're going to have to go to the school and say we can't, because we don't have a location. And at this point, now, the conversation I'm having, we haven't told anybody. Everybody thinks we're going to have an event. It's just me and him that know that, kaput, we have no place to go. But when God fights for you, there's one of our pastors that says, when God cooks, there's no smell. He just brings you the final plate. You can't tell he's cooking for you. I remember I'm walking in on Thursday. I told you I used to work during my whole school. I was going to work. I used to work on campus. I used to work for the financial department. I'm going to my office. Not my office. The office where I was working was upstairs. So I'm going up there. I'm about to get into the stairs, and I see my boss. So you know when you see your boss's boss, it's kind of like a big deal. I see my boss. My boss said like, Salem, come over here. I'm like, not only am I going to get in trouble, I'm about to lose my job. I'm like, what is going on? Because I'm thinking like, I did something wrong. I didn't tell him on time. I'm about to cancel very late. So he said, no, come over here. I come and walk into the office of my boss, and I walk into there. And something that's crazy, as I'm sitting there, my boss, her boss comes in. Now, he sits down. Like, you know when you're in trouble, and you know you're really in trouble, when the person comes in, sits down in the corner and looks at you. What did I do? So now in my head I'm thinking, I didn't tell him ahead of time. Like just the cost of school, maybe for security or something like that. Now I'm thinking like I'm really in trouble. Like there's a fine, I'm going to pay on this, things like that. So this is 3 levels to my boss that's sitting over there. Another person comes in. Now there's 3 people in the room. 2 of them are looking at the computer, they're seeing this. And then the boss that was sitting in the corner, the whole time I'm like some kind of little kid. Like what's going to happen to me, right? The one that was in the corner gets up, looks at the computer, says, yeah, we'll do that one over there. Yeah, okay, fine. Walks out. Didn't say anything to me, didn't say hi to me, didn't smile at me, nothing. So now the lady comes and said, come around the corner. I'm like, when am I coming to see, right? So I'm coming like, so one is sitting down, the other one is sitting up. I'm coming around the corner. She's like, what about here? I was like, what is that? That's a map of the football field. What about here? She said, what about this location here? I'm like, what are you talking about? She said, so apparently what happened is the president of Penn State University called my boss's boss, say, apparently there's a group of young people who are trying to do an event somewhere and then they were rejected in that area. Give them the area on the football field. Remember what division I had? On the football field. Coming full circle. The area that we got was 10 times bigger than the area that we were trying to go first. And the area that we got came already with the bathrooms, so we didn't even have to buy them. When God cooks, doesn't spell. So in that moment, I'm up there. You know when you're like too shocked to be happy? You're just like, what's going on? You know what I mean? So now I'm running out. I'm fumbling. It's like, oh, come down. I'm taking my stuff. Now, who's the first one I call? My friend Steve. Like, dude. I call him. I'm like, Steven, I don't know what's happening. Now I'm shaking because I don't know if it's true. Is this a prank? You know, where's the camera? You know, what's going on? So I'm like, dude, they give us a location. He's like, where's the location? I tell him the place. He comes and grabs me on the bike. Crazy stuff. He has a motorcycle. He doesn't have a helmet for me. I didn't care. I jumped on the motorcycle. We ran to saw the place. Man, it was crazy. We're filming the area, praising God. This is Thursday that this happened. For an event that was going to be on Saturday, we got the location. And guess what happened? The location that we got was adjacent to the location we first decided to have. So we didn't even have to print new flyers. All we had to do was have people say, go to that area over there. So God still was able to help us. So that event was actually fantastic. We had close to 3,000 people that came to that event. So that was the first time they had a public festival type event at Penn State, and we preached the gospel. We went, we did obviously the music, we attracted people to come. I mean, it was the first time people were like, yo, there's no weed at this party, there's no alcohol? Like, what's going on? And then when we preached the gospel, people were like, oh wow. People went from like, oh, you know, EDM, people just dance, you know, white people just dance like, no rhythm, they just it was this kind of music, you know? So we did that, and then people went from doing that to raising their hand and giving their life to Christ. So we're going to continue with this later, but I wanted for us to stop over here, and with that testimony, I want you guys to start thinking about what is possible through you. We've talked about a lot of things. Your goals, stay focused. I implored you guys, understand the importance of money, create multiple streams of income. All that is important. I talked about understanding your talents are treasures inside of you, your time. So many of you guys are wasting your time. Some of you guys are just, you're not as far as you want to because you're just being lazy. And I know to some of you guys, you're like, how dare he? He doesn't know my situation. I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not the first one to judge. I've ran away from God for a long time. I gave my life to Christ. I was 9 years old. I only decided to serve him when I was 19. It took 10 years for God to get me. So I'm not here trying to pretend that I'm some kind of holy person. All I decided, I stayed focused to the goal that he gave me. I came today to ruffle a couple feathers for some of you guys to say, you know what, if God needs somebody, here I am, I'm available. That God is going to impact you in your community. That you don't have to be a pastor. You don't have to be a prophet. Some of you guys are not even called to be in the pulpit, but you're going to be an influencer to your community. There's some of you guys, you're waiting to be up front when God needs you in the back. Some of you guys are trying to have outward talents when God has given you inward gifts that you're still not using. My goal is to just be an inspiration. Even if it's just a little bit, even if it's just one sentence. He said, you know what, that guy said something that was kind of crazy. It's really important. The reason why I talked about the pragmatic now is because the second half of what I'm going to talk about is the supernatural. Because what happened in that story, and I left the cliffhanger like that for you to understand, God will do supernatural when you do the pragmatic. Remember, we did everything we could until we came to our limits. And what my mom said, you lifted God's name, let him fight for his name. You serve a God who's willing to fight for his name in Ireland. He needs you to do your part. You're serving a God who's willing to fight for your school, who's willing to fight in your area, in your community, in your family, in your churches, but you're not doing your part. I believe that God is going to anoint some of you today. Not for ministry. That's not my calling at all. The place to do that. This is not the type of meeting. But God is going to anoint some of you guys to be able to prosper in your gift. Some of you guys, your talent that's so buried inside of you, God is going to unleash those today. I really believe it. Yesterday when I was there, the Lord was kept downloading on me. It was like, the Lord said to me clearly, because I had a different message I wanted to preach. The Lord said to me clearly, the pragmatic and the supernatural. He said, Jesus told his disciple, don't go anywhere until you receive power. So some of you guys, you already are doing what you need to do. Now God is about to add power to what you do. He's going to put the super to your natural. He's going to anoint you so that there are places where you've already spoke to your friends and it didn't work. Sometimes now you're going to go and say the same thing you did before, and now you're going to have results. Why? Because God is going to put His Holy Spirit on you. Because when God is with you, who can be against you? That this whole, the companies, that all the countries, that all the authorities, even when they stand against you, they won't be able to stop you. But before I close in prayer, I would do you a disservice if I don't tell you this, because this is very important. This is the very essence. Everything I talked about does not matter if you don't know Jesus. Like, I want you to get paid. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about get your money, make sure your relationships are tight, make sure you do everything you have to do, follow your dreams. But why? The Bible says, why does it gain for me to win the world and lose my soul? My biggest fear is at the end, after I've preached, after I go to different places, I told you tomorrow I'm in London, after that I'm in Paris, after that I'm in Orléans, after that I'm in Brussels. I'll go to all these places. I'll be in basically 5 countries in 4 days. Why would I do that and not make it happen? So today, I want some of you guys to be for sure. Some of you guys, you're sitting there, you're looking at me, you're looking very Christian because you're in an environment of Christian, but you yourself know you're not sure. If on this break, Christ came, would you go? Like, are you sure you would go? Or you think you would go? Now is the opportunity to be sure. And the Bible makes it simple. He said, if you believe in your heart that Jesus Christ died, that He came for your sin, and you confess it with your mouth, that God elevated Him as the Son of God, you will be saved. Amen. So my goal for you is pretty simple. To make sure that today you leave out of this place knowing that you are a child of God. And that everything that we talked about, because everything that we talked about without being connected to the source won't work. If you don't know the manual to your life, you will misuse your life. You have to learn how to use something. If not, you're going to abuse it. Abuse is a grammatical construct. There's 2 words. Abuse means abnormal use. You only use something abusively when you don't know how to use it correctly. So some of you guys have been abusing your talent, abusing your time, because you haven't been connected to the one who created it all. So now is the time. Maybe on the keyboard, just give me something soft on the keyboard if you could, that'd be great. I'm not going to try to make it very religious. I told you already. My friend gave his life to Christ. We're playing basketball. It's pretty simple. All I need is, if today you know you need to make a decision, and now is your time to do what you need to do, simply was, guys, not to sing it right now. We're going to do the prayer first. We're going to do the prayer first. Because this is too important. This is too important for us to be distracted. God is going to anoint some of you today. And some of you today is going to be the first time you give your life to Christ. You don't need to have years of ministry to serve Him. You need to be willing. You don't need to be talented. You don't need to be speaking like me to serve Him. You need to be willing. I'm going to pray for some of you, the first group. For those of you guys who know, I want to be sure. See, when you talk about God, your love for God, your passion for God is so, I want to be sure like you. Today you can be sure. The second group for you is, you know there's talents in you. You've been bearing it for too long. You know you can do much more than what you have in you. I want to pray a special prayer of blessing that the Lord start unleashing the talents that are deposited in you. We talk about doing exploits. Exploits only come whenever you do something outside of the ordinary. An exploit is a bold feat. It's something that is greater than the normal. It's something when you take full advantage of what's deposited in you. Today is your day. The Lord has called you. Don't let the enemy trip you. He's going to tell you, if you go up there, everybody's going to know that you weren't really a Christian. Let me tell you, tell the voice to be quiet and calm. Because I'd rather be sure with God than unsure with the devil. I'd rather go home today knowing that even if my message fell on deaf ears, that heaven rejoices because somebody came into the kingdom of God. Today is your day. I'm not going to tell you in your seat, just pray after me. I don't want any coward Christians. Because if you're afraid to stand for Jesus here, you won't stand for him there. So I need you to be brave enough and say, I'm in assemblies of brothers and sisters. Nobody's going to judge you here. We're going to celebrate you. Because you're publicly saying, I believe in the God that you're talking about. So that the same anointing that's in here will go with you when you go out there and try to preach Jesus. I'm going to call you once. So the reason I talk like that is to prepare you. I'm not going to call you twice. But if you know, you want to be sure, and today's your day, come. Jesus' name. The place is empty. Today is the time. Come and be sure. Your life to be transformed. Don't worry about what others may think. Sanda ramaya soko robo yoshenda rabaya soto yondo robaya karaba shondo robo yosende. Don't let the enemy trip you. Now is the time to be for sure that heaven is your home, that you are a daughter and a son of the living King, that heaven is your own, that the kingdom of God is yours, that you will walk with power and signs and wonders. Now is your time. Come to this place. Holy Spirit, God, we thank you. Last call. If you know you need to be here, be here. Come to the family of God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, God. We want to lift up the name of Jesus. Last call. God is calling you. Now is your time. For those who came today, I want you to believe in your heart that when you make this prayer, there's nothing magical, there's nothing mystique that's going to happen to you. The Bible simply says that when you believe in your heart, so I want you to come here praying that you believe in your heart that your life will never be the same. That starting today, your name is written in the book. That means you can go home today knowing for sure, you are a child of God. There's no more doubt. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. The Lord is going to use you. Some of you guys from today, things are going to change forever for you. I'll already welcome you. I want you to raise your hands. Everybody who's in the front, raise your hands. This is just a sign of surrender. This is a sign of surrender to God. It's not a question of trying to be cool. It's about being obedient. I want you to pray after me because this is very important. I want you to say, Lord Jesus. Come on, say it out loud. Lord Jesus. I know I am a sinner. And I need you as my Savior. Lord, I ask and confess my sin. I ask you to come into my heart. I ask you to change me, to wash me in your blood. I believe that you are the Son of God, that you came, died, and rose again. And through your resurrection, I am saved. I now declare publicly, I will follow you, I will obey you, I will love you. I am now a child of God. Heaven is my home, and I'm going to see my Father. In Jesus' name, amen. Give God praise for these. Come on, give God praise.